Okay, guys, I'm back. Um, I had to get a new computer. The one I had it only had like uh, 512 RAM on it, an old Pentium 4. It just didn't have the computing power that was required to do HD video. So I got hooked up with a new one. It's, a lot more updated than the last one. So hopefully I won't be having the audio issues and the video issues, and I can actually upload a complete video. So I want to go back to the last video I uploaded. I took it down. There's no reason to leave it up anymore. But I talked a little bit about this one. And I did forget to mention I'm not opposed to the idea that this may be an agate basin. But yeah, that's it's still an incredible point, either way you look at it. Then, of course, my Dalton's here. Now, I should correct myself. In the last video, I said paleo. I didn't mean to say that. I still had, that one stuck in my head. But right around early archaic, I would say. Some books that I've seen say late paleo, but we all know when they're from. But yeah, this was one of those days, man. I really was kicking myself for not having a camera. And of course, here's the one from the spot that I call the tool factory. And I was telling Nerelich, he was talking about that spot, and I was saying, it's a tough spot. You really have to walk that thing over and over and over again, and each time you do, you will find something you walked right over. I walked over this thing for about 6 weeks straight, and I probably went down there 3 or 4 times in that 6 weeks. I probably was down there every other day. It's real close to where I live. I only live like 2 miles away from that spot, so it's convenient to go to. But yeah, it was about 6 weeks of walking every square foot of that bar before I found this one. And it was just kind of laying up under a couple of large rocks. The sun just happened to be hitting that hole right to where I could actually see this thing was in there. But yeah, this is a Anyway, I didn't talk too much about this plain view. This was actually handed down to me. I believe it was my great-great-grandfather that found this. My family used to own land in Flint Hill, Missouri, and they pulled points out of there like crazy, and most of them were this material. But yeah, this is killer, especially for a field find. It is incredible. I do have a few points that were handed down, but that's the best one so far. And then, before the video cut out the last time, I didn't get a chance to show you these. This was the shell I was talking about. I found this up the creek. Now, this type of clamshell, you only find these in the Merrimack River, or those types of rivers, the Missouri, Osage, a larger flowing river, and the place in the creek I found this thing in, these shells they don't exist in that creek. They don't have the right habitat. And this was probably found at least 3 miles upstream, maybe even 4. and it was just laying in the creek. And these, I mean, they're real clean holes. You know, there's no real degradation in this spot. It's still really thick. But, you know, when you fit it up on your chest, it fits perfectly. You know, right in between your pectoral muscles or whatever. But yeah, that was interesting. And this thing, I have no idea what this thing is. The base is broken off of it, but it looks like it feathers out. And yeah, I've never seen this point type around here before. And you know, I've tried hitting up, you know, the bucks, and I can't find it really there either. So I was wondering if anybody out there could identify it. And then I know I'm getting pretty late on, actually I'm way late on this, but you know, they were talking about drills. And this is the first complete drill I ever found. I was about 14 at the time. And it's actually a little creek just down the hill from my place. And I'm not sure what era this drill was from. It's it's very well worked. You know, and as you see, I mean, it's a good sized drill, just in perfect condition. I've got one other complete drill. It's not quite as long as this. It's almost as long, but it's not quite as impressive. And then here's something for Brooksy, because I know he wanted to see these. I'm still very novice when it comes to flint knapping. Yeah, just grab them. They're not gonna. But here's a couple of my older ones from probably a year and a half ago or so. You know, they're still pretty crude, but I'm learning. Yeah, the hardest part for me is finding material. That's just tough. And yeah, my attempt at a Sedalia, still pretty thick. Yeah, and the flake work is a little sloppy, but like I said, I'm learning. It doesn't take long to get out of practice though either, so you gotta make sure you've got material to work with and put some time into it. Now another one of my problems also is I don't have any antler or any the copper billets or anything like that. I'm just using hammerstone on these things. But yeah, they're functional. There's one I was out spalling one day at the river, and I got going on a piece and just kept cranking and cranking and cranking. Just out of boredom, I was losing light, so. But it turned out better than I was expecting it to be. But still. So, hopefully I can get better and actually turn out a decent reproduction here within the next year or so. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and shut this down for now and see if it uploads and uploads the way it should. Happy hunting out there.